I'm going to tell you guys what to expect when you arrive at your duty station for the first time as an officer. And also, I'm going to mix it in with my day and also some advice, so it makes sense for you guys. So when you guys arrive at your station, you guys are more prepared and not as lost and confused when you guys show up. So stay tuned for more. So first thing I want to say, take a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Trust me, it's not as bad as you think. So I know it's going to be a lot of anxiety. Similar to when you go to your first day of school, you're going to have a lot of nervousness stuff. It's not that bad, trust me. It was kind of surreal going from a situation where you had cadre, people that was ranked above you, you know, you had to answer to them, speaking parade rest, but they never kind of gave you that same respect, obviously because of rank dynamic. Like, imagine, like, 10-year people that been in the military 15 years, like, they're just saluting you when, like, this, like, 2 weeks ago, when I graduated, they just walked right by you, didn't even think nothing of it. Like, you can kind of see where their eyes kind of look, and then they see that gold bar or the bar in general, they kind of give you a different, the interaction's a little different. But when you go in there, you know, people are gonna look at you like, who are you? Obviously. So they're not gonna know like what, like they're gonna kind of size you up a little bit. So I'll say make sure that you're squared away. Uniform look clean, you look clean. If you can get a haircut, get a haircut. I don't really got a haircut. It's kind of like just did a quick lineup and a little shave down. Speaking of shave, if you do have a shave profile, make sure you just have that on you. Not like ready to give it to you, because they may not check you about it or they may not say nothing, but it's better to have it as opposed to them saying, look at him, he don't got no shave, like he got no, you know what I'm saying, he not shaved, you got this. Having your documentations already prepared, and also printed out physical copies, because you don't want to expect them to be able to print out copies, because our printers didn't work. So you don't want to go in there empty-handed and say, yeah, I got to print some off and print it don't work. It's kind of a big waste of time. Especially if you're a reserve unit and you drove a far distance where you can't go back home, or you don't have a personal printer or a computer on your own. It's going to be a very bad first impression. They're going to think you're not prepared or not really ready to work. You should get a schedule beforehand in your group chat. They should have a group chat for you guys, and it'll tell you pretty much what the rundown is, when to show up and stuff. Also, I'll say beforehand, try to get in contact with some of the sergeants, or like, you know, the first sergeant, the company commander, lieutenants, so you at least get an idea on what you should bring with you and what to expect. You don't have to talk a lot, just kind of get an idea of what to expect. It's not as bad as you think. Most of the time they should be responsive, and there should be no issues on the interaction. And if they kind of give you a shady response, then you already kind of have an idea about their energy when you get to your unit. So you already know who to stay away from, who to not stay away from, but tread lightly with, and who to kind of like, okay, you can be a little bit more informal. I would say the best thing is communication. Make sure you guys talk to your enlisteds, lower and senior, so you can get a general feel on what the environment is. Because I would say in that same sentiment though, don't rely too heavily on the people's advice, like what they tell you about the unit, because somebody say it's trash, somebody say it's good, but at least gauge an idea on where it's steering towards, so you guys can keep an eye on if there's somebody you need to watch, or if you need to watch them or something like that, so you guys are not really blindsided by someone's character. You know, trust none, respect all. Don't be afraid to not know anything, because they kind of already expect you not to know stuff, literally. But if you kind of like don't say anything, they're gonna probably think you standoffish. It's gonna give like a bad impression. So make sure like if they put you on some work, make sure that you're asking questions on how to do it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't just assume what the instructions are. I didn't know anything. What I did during this day, I did a lot of inventory supplies, where I just made sure that the weapons and, you know, ammunition was accounted for. They didn't have a defect, so you gotta go get food on your own. So just make sure either have like food ready for you, or at least look up some restaurants or like food spots that you can go to, so you guys are not prepared, so you guys are prepared, so you guys know what to eat, so you can save time and get enough rest if you guys tired or anything, or if you need any other documentation. For example, me, I was in LIK program where I had to travel, so I had a hotel already accommodated for me. So for example, people was using their computers. I didn't know I could bring my personal computer, so I had mine with me. And I make sure you have your CAT card reader too. If you guys don't have that, make sure you go get it, because they didn't have a lot of computers for us to use, so we was able to use ours. After that, I was pretty much doing a lot of my admin stuff most of the day. It made it a lot easier, because that was pretty much they was going on to their AT, which is annual training. So they ended up was getting all their documentation squared away. Pretty much that whole day, I kind of went. I was asking a couple questions about like where the career counselors, a little bit about the unit that you talk to a lot of your enlisteds. So they'll give you a general feel on what the environment's like. I mean, of course, you're higher ranked than them, so they're probably not going to tell you like the real nitty gritty as much, as opposed to maybe like your senior NCOs. They might tell you more details. That's my advice when you go to your unit. What you guys think? Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'm out. Gone.